next episode of the Digital Mittelstand. My name is Can and I help small and medium businesses, so Mittelstand, to overcome their digital transformation challenges. Today's episode called the Digital Competence in Mittelstand, and today I have Nico Bitzer from Bots and People. He is the CEO of Bots and People and he also lives in Berlin. Bots and People's mission is to empower people and companies to automate processes. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Nico. Welcome, Nico. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Chan. Very nice that you invited me. I'm happy to be here. I founded Bots and People last year, and Bots and People is an educator for also Mittelstand, but also a lot of other companies, bigger companies, in terms of process automation. So all topics around process mining, robotic process automation, cloud automation. Yeah, and then to my personal background, originally I'm an expert in the field of education. So I studied business education in the wonderful city of Mainz, and then moved to Düsseldorf. Had several stations in management consulting at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then moved to Berlin, founded a startup. What else should you do in Berlin?
Living the Berlin dream.
Yeah, living the Berlin dream.
Yeah, so nice to have you here and have you in Berlin as well. Well, my first question would be how Mittelstand can build digital competence?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And yeah, initially you would think, okay, they have to visit some academies, some trainings, but I would start before that. So I think what is really important is the topic culture and mindset. Without that foundation, it's nearly impossible, in my opinion, to build competence in digitization.
So you say it starts with culture and mindset. And yes, that's very aligned with what I always preach, digital transformation on 3 pillars. And the first pillar is always the people, then comes the processes, and then comes the technology. And so glad to hear that you have the same opinion. But can you build on that? How can Mittelstand, for example, educate themselves on the technologies available? How can train themselves? What are the availability? What are the prerequisites for the education? So in this domain, I think we lack a lot of information, and you are definitely the right one to explain those.
Yeah. So I would to expand this. In my opinion, this lays on 3 pillars. So all this education topic. The first pillar is the organizational culture, as already mentioned. So you need to build acceptance for people training themselves. I had we were talking upfront about this webinar we did this week, and I was talking about people dancing in the park, which sounds weird in the beginning, but it's like this. So to tell about this first pillar, if you imagine there is a park and all people sitting around and doing nothing, and then one person standing up and dancing, very wild, and this person will be looked at very much, because maybe not in Berlin, but in other cities, and people will think, oh, what is she doing there, or he is doing there? It isn't the way we do it right now. And then what happens if this person is stays enthusiastic, is dancing and happy and doing her thing? Then people will join and dance with her. And in the end, there will be a big group. If they all catch the fire of dancing and enthusiasm, they will all dance. And then people that are still sitting around are the weird ones. And this is what I mean by mindset. So you need to generate this environment in which people want to start dancing and want to change things and want to educate themselves. So, and this is the first one. And the second one is the individual pillar, I would call it. Yeah, and this is the competence to learn for individual persons. So you have the freedom now to learn, and then you also need the competence to learn. What does that mean? Especially in Germany, school system comes from like times where there was army, when there was war. I mean, you have this 45 minutes, and then there's a sign, and then you change the room, and you go to another class. And this is not how people learn naturally. How people learn naturally is by facing challenges and then solving their challenges by getting knowledge to solve these challenges. And yeah, this is also something you need to learn, and um, you need to give people the space in the company to learn that. Yeah, so this is the learning competence. And then the third pillar, of course, is then the topics they want to learn about digitization. And it's also the third pillar for me the least important. So whether they learn on what is cloud computing, they learn on data competence, they learn on automation, like in our courses. But this is it's just a tool to reach a goal that someone in a company and the whole company has.
Yeah. And I was also in the webinar and I really liked the dancing, in the beginning, weird guy, but at the end, what was the
Yeah.
thought leader or the influencer guy or
Yes.
girl example. And that, I think, reflects the cultural change in organizations to a very good extent, I would say. And but you also mentioned about those skills can be trained. So I'm wondering whether it's for everyone, whether it's for only IT people, or who can be trained actually.
Yeah. So there is several ways to do it, first of all, and then yeah, who is the people you need to train? I think you need to train everyone, and then also if we say train, there's also this big difference between learning and training, and I think learning makes the much bigger part. So what can you do concrete? Now I'm getting a little bit concrete, I promise, Chan. Yeah, from this high level view. So you can, for example, organize skills and drinks in your company. I mean, when people can get back to the office, that's for sure. And also now you can organize virtual skills and drinks. And then you give a person that is enthusiastic about something. Let's say this is robotic process automation,
Mhm.
and this person who is enthusiastic doesn't have to be the super pro in the topic, but can have the task to present it, make a little keynote for the whole company, and then everyone is discussing about it. And you can, from leadership, from top down, you can say, okay, we do such a skills and drink now every week or every month, let's say. And then every month you have 3 speakers, you have a little event after that Q&A, and then you can foster this culture of learning and of yeah, getting into things and getting enthusiastic about things. So this can be a possibility. Then you can also have fuck up nights, where you talk about what you learned. Yeah, basically not how you fucked up, and this shouldn't be the focus, but rather what you learned while fucking up things. And so you can also share knowledge in the whole organization. And this is just 2 examples on how you can organize this. And then, of course, everyone can learn about these things. And the organization and the people will, yeah, you will see which people want to learn which things, and rather this way around than saying, okay, now all IT people need to know about RPA, because it can be someone from accounting that will be then an expert in RPA and tell the IT on how to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. But before we go on with this example and build upon that, how an accountant can be the RPA leader in the company, which is very interesting. You said very Berlinish thing, which is fuck up nights, and a coincidence, but we organize a entrepreneurs fuck up event on 24th of February at 6 German time. So in this opportunity, I would like to invite everyone, and to you as well, Nico.
Sounds really interesting.
Two speakers, and they will share their fuck up stories, because we believe that everybody can share their success stories, but when they share their failure stories, first of all, it's more humane, so we can connect more, and second of all, we learn from our failures, not our successes. So that's why I thought it's a good opportunity to share this event, and I will put the link registration. Of course, it's for free, and I will put event link in the description. But let's come back to accountant, who is the now RPA leader of the company, and which we also have experienced that in the past with our BPM tool as well. Someone from finance can be the process modeling leader in the company, because they like the way it's done, and they are enthusiastic about the topic. Also, they educated themselves, trained themselves, or as you put clearly, they learned about the topic. So that made this possible. And coming back to that, I think it's a mind opener for me as well, to not to look only IT in Mittelstand, but exactly to all of your resources, and maybe ask them, right? Will you be interested in that? Or how do you initiate this process in Mittelstand? So which roles need to be created, which people to be targeted first? So please explain this process a little bit.
Okay, so I recently read a book from this ex-Googler called Laszlo Bock. I'm not sure what was the name of the book, but it was about letting people work some time of their working time on things they like. Yeah, so not controlling them, and make it really formal, that one day of the week they can work on whatever they want. And I know that a lot of German Mittelstand is still far away of such things, but you could already start with maybe half a day or a few hours for people, to giving them the freedom to get interested in things. Or what could also be nice, which I've seen in some companies, is if you give people not, or you don't have this process of someone is interested in a topic and needs to get the approval from her or his boss, but rather getting a budget for training, and then spend this budget on wherever and whenever they want. This can be like 2 simple steps to filter out this enthusiastic people and see where they fit in, and then to get into this organizational level. I can speak a lot about the automation competence, of course. With digitization, maybe you can adapt it as well. But with automation, it's that you really need a kind of a business analyst, which we call automation strategist, who is responsible and has the head on for all the automation topics, and driving the topic. This you can also imagine for digitization or for data competence. Some person that has only the job to care about how digitize things. And then you have in the departments, so finance, HR, and in the other departments, you have champions as well. And for them, it's a half-time job, but they also need to be able to dedicate at least maybe 20 or 50% of their time to implementing digitization, to implement automation. And they work together with the centrally. Maybe they are under the COO or under the IT, but they work together with these automation strategists or digitization strategists to make projects happen. Yeah, and where is this automation strategist? This automation strategist or digitization strategist, they will be in a center of excellence or competence center. This competence center can be in IT again, can be under the COO or directly under the top management level. And they prioritize all the projects and the initiatives and also map it against the overall strategy of the company. And then, of course, you need also the deep tech experts that sitting in this center of excellence. They know how to build robots. They know how to work with data. They know how to build the infrastructure to scale automation projects.
Very well summarized. Thank you, Nico. But let's assume a Mittelstand has a regular IT department, no automation strategist, maybe no COO even. How they can start? Because they can start from somewhere, I believe. So in this case, what would be your suggestion where they can start? Maybe they take one guy, enthusiast guy or women, of course, from IT, then assign her as the automation strategist, educate her, and then build up the team. But this is what I understood from your summary. But can you please explain us a typical Mittelstand with a regular IT department where they can start?
Yeah, so there it needs a leader with the also the decision capacity, I will call it, to set up projects and to drive projects. This can be, for example, the leader of the IT. And if you maybe that are listening this podcast now, or someone else is a team lead or something, you probably need to get these people on board. And then you would start with small proof of concepts. So you can you convince this leader to get some budget. It sounds always very easy when I talk about it. I know that it's not in real life, but I'm just trying to giving the framework. You can start a little proof of concept where you, for example, implement one automation, or you get one system to the or one very small task you get into the cloud, or you implement DocuSign for signing the documents or whatever, and you implement it, and then you're gonna get all the stakeholders on board. So you need to talk. Mittelstand sometimes has strong workers' council, strong IT security, data security teams, and you have to bond with those people. Not only just implement your proof of concept for whatever, but you need to get those people on board, also the leadership, and then have, of course, small task force that is caring about the topic, and then you implement it. Let's say it's implementing DocuSign for digital digital signing. And then you showcase this to the whole company. You can, and then this goes back to the earlier conversation, you can facilitate such skills and drinks, or you can send around success story, and then you will talk about what you've done. So make things good and talk about it is the credo here. And with that, it gets, then the success gets spreaded in the company, and from that point, I'm not saying that they will then be the digital center of excellence or automation center of excellence, but maybe then you get the budget for the next thing to do, and then you have implemented DocuSign, and then you build a robot that is pushing the DocuSigns to your accounting system or whatever, and then you have the next project. And the more projects, the more people dancing, and the more realistic it is that you get these structures where we were talking about in the beginning.
Well explained. And within all these phases of suggestion, where bots and people come into play?
Yeah, so bots and people helps with the strategic implementation of automation technology. So whenever a company, you were just asking, like, where should we start? We are helping with setting up first proof of concepts, and getting the strategy right. Also with the change management, right now we even have, we offer to analyze processes for free to get the companies inspired. And then of course with the educational program, because we say that you can do proof of concepts and projects with consultancies, which is really important. And probably to scale it, you also will need always consultancies, but you also will need to build up internal competencies. And there, what kicks in is our educational program, where we educate this automation strategists that are then able to conduct automation projects and to see the full landscape of what they can do in terms of automation.
Yeah, and for this automation specialist training, is there a prerequisite? So an accountant can apply for that, or should they have an IT background?
No, the accountant doesn't have to be an IT expert, doesn't have to have an IT background, but needs to be enthusiastic about technology. So all there will people will build their first robot if they haven't done before in this program. They will analyze some processes with process mining, like we have the example of mining the process of boarding an airplane, which is really, really interesting. So is it faster when you board via bus, or okay, now I'm getting from the past, but because I'm so
No, that's
enthusiastic
very
about it.
interesting. Go,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. I like where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And this they will do in the educational program, but they don't need this coding expertise. So it's just being enthusiastic about technology. And what is important is, of course, know about how processes run in corporates. That's a prerequisite, I would say, to know how it's a little bit know how it's going in a bigger company or in a Mittelstand company.
Yeah, but let's say an accountant from Mittelstand will at least know all of the accounting processes.
Yes.
So there are
Yeah,
processes,
that's enough. Yeah.
and they are the most regulated ones. So they can
Yeah.
imagine what a good process look like. And
Yeah.
I think that's a great example, the accountant example.
Yeah.
So thank you for the insights, Nico. But before you leave, what would be your top suggestion for Mittelstand owners, Mittelstand managers as key takeaway from today's conversation?
That's two simple words. It's just start would be my suggestion, and be enthusiastic. So these two things I would really, really suggest. And I know it sounds easy again, and it's a hard process, and there will be rocks on the way to go the path of digitalization, and there will be department heads or other stakeholders that will be against you, because change always hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you stay enthusiastic and if you always try to change things with a smile, then there will be the point when it works, and then it feels just good.
Yes. At the end of the day, it all comes to, do you want to be on the dancing part, or still sitting where
Yeah.
almost everyone around you is dancing? So that
Yes.
comes to that question. But you answered a very important question, I think, for Mittelstand, because technologies, when they sound like process mining, robotic process automation, they sound a little bit like rocket science. However, by educating themselves, like the automation strategist training plan you offer, they don't need to have an IT background, but they still can learn a lot. And of course, I don't mean that after this course they will program 200 bots. No, but at least they know what they are doing, and they can guide the professionals to do their work, so the consultancies do their work better, because those people are coming from Mittelstand, know their own processes of expertise. So that's the perfect match. And as bots and people, you enable this by giving the education. So that's my takeaway from bots and people.
Yeah, and one anecdote, there was one participant of our training, also no technical background, and the the task was to order every Friday, so build a bot that orders every Friday a pizza from your favorite Italian place. And the person then, and we said, but don't, if you don't want to make it work, then please just yeah, cancel before it really gets gets to order this pizza. And this person ordered then with his bot a pizza to somewhere in Munich, and yeah, and it worked. So if you can order by a pizza by a bot, you can also order a tool for a Mittelstand company. You can also order via bot and make it work. Yeah, that's also one little anecdote I wanted to tell.
Good to know. Good to know. So maybe
Yeah.
the lucky guy who received the pizza in Munich are listening to us. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
But before we close, Nico, where people can find you?
Yeah, on LinkedIn, definitely. Just search for my profile, and also on our website, botsandpeople.com, you can find tons of materials, also the recorded webinars, and all you need to start the automation journey.
Okay, I will also put the link to your LinkedIn profile and Bots and People website to the description, so it will be definitely easy. But thank you for the insights. I really enjoyed the conversation, and good to know that an accountant from Mittelstand can design bots to automate processes. That was really enlightening.
Thank you for the invitation, Chan. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.